Sunny next fall.
They've got high-def quality that just 10 years ago that would have cost 60 grand.
And, yeah, I mean, I know that they're using it to defend the borders, and we have multiple predators along the U.S. border.
A whole bunch of them, yeah.
And there's not a whole bunch. We just got, we had 2, and I think they're pushing for 5 right now.
Yeah, but I mean, the Air Force, has over 15,000 of them, and they're using them all over the world.
Yeah, but we were talking for the
Sure.
USA,
Sure.
The Homeland Defense doesn't have a lot of them, and they're flying the U.S. border, but they're not looking over your back fence or anything. So,
well, actually, I mean, we got footage in Florida where they are. I mean, they say police on them are flying.
Yeah, and well, police are held to a higher level. Fully autonomous drones where they can send them out to a spot, and that's a different thing where the guy isn't seeing it. He's got a
sure,
camera,
pre-programmed.
Or he's flying it by camera, where he's looking into an image and flying it first-person view. But the guys that are flying low-level, under-regulated airspace, I'm flying 400 feet or less. Regulated airspace starts at around 500.
Sure, listen, you're out here getting shots from the highway department. That's understandable. That's a great profession, really neat. I'm glad we ran into each other. I'm talking about police departments are saying we're getting them and we want to weaponize them.
Well, see, I actually know guys in the police departments, and what they would like to do is, before they serve a warrant, is fly around the house and look at exits and stuff like that. Things like...
Couldn't Google Earth do that?
Well, yeah, if you could get them to fly over this afternoon.
Well, that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
Google looks straight down. These can come in and look.
At obliques, yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm telling you, that's the Big Brother aspect. Look at all the surveillance. Look at the NSA admitting it's spying on the American people illegally. Look at all the loss of liberty, all the cameras. I remember talking to the highway department 15 years ago, and they said, we'll never use these for the police. And, of course, they were planning it the whole time. It's a night, but, I mean, who's watching the government?
Yeah. Well, I hope there are concerned citizens watching the government.
And we just reported last month how the Department of Homeland Security has announced that they will be using drones for our public safety. Janet Napolitano said they will be used for what they are calling situational awareness in large public safety matters. Meanwhile, the FAA is on record. They are saying that they estimate that there will be over 30,000 unmanned drones patrolling America's skies by the year 2020. That's 30,000 drones. And meanwhile, police departments all across the country, they are buying unmanned drones left and right with the help, I might add, from the Department of Homeland Security. And make no mistake about it, they want to spy on the American people. They want to spy on you and me. And check this out. The DHS has also given the green light to deploy the Shadowhawk mini drone helicopter. Actually, Marcos, that's it right there. I'm pretty sure that's it. If you pause that video, that's the Shadowhawk. That's a combat drone that was used in Iraq and Afghanistan, and now it's patrolling the skies of America. And the Shadowhawk, it could tase you from above. It comes equipped with 2 12-gauge shotguns that are mounted on it, and it even has a grenade launcher. So that's what I call a militarized drone. And it's battle-tested, folks. Like I said, it was deployed out there in Iraq and Afghanistan. And now it's even out here in Montgomery County, Texas, because I know the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office just recently purchased one. So, but that's, according to Janet Napolitano and Homeland Security, it's for our safety. Rest assured, we're all safer because of these drones. And speaking of Janet Napolitano, we have a developing story right now. This is actually one of the biggest stories in the country right now, as a federal lawsuit against Janet Napolitano, where they're alleging a Homeland Security employment discrimination against straight male agents. And for more on this, we're now joined by Alex Jones, who's going to break this down for us. What's going on with Homeland Security?
Well, what's happened, basically, and it's very obvious, is that all the top positions have been filled by many women who don't even have any law enforcement background at the Department of Justice and Homeland Security, who are friends, special friends, Gawker and others are saying lesbian friends, of Janet Napolitano. And hey, so if Elena Kagan's a lesbian, and if Sotomayor is a lesbian, and if all these people are lesbians, as some say they are, and if the head of Homeland Security is a lesbian, that's that issue. But when they set up cults where you have to be a lesbian to work for them, that's a problem. And that's basically where this lawsuit's going, where men would have, all the senior men would have all their stuff put in the bathroom and basically told to go to hell. I can't even read here on air what these men are saying.
I'm actually glad you're doing the story, because that you're covering it more than I am, because, I mean, I read some of this and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to read this.
Well, I mean this is somebody that since they got control of Homeland Security, has TSA drag 3-year-olds off to close rooms to have weird men strip search children.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're hiring criminals on purpose. They do a background check now to make sure you're a criminal. And it's come out in the news they're hiring all these criminals, rapists, pedophiles, defrocked priests. And you're like, well, why? It's so crazy. Because for these weirdos, it's the domination.
We've had people that work for the TSA call into the show and even tell us that very same point.
Well, people that are over the hiring. Yeah, but it's also in the news. So when you read this, you know, they would say alleged, but it's a bunch of men. And they're going to have the witnesses. It's all going to come out. And this just fits into the MO of, like, Bill Clinton raping countless women. He even settled lawsuits over it.
Who's filing the lawsuit?
Well, it's a senior officer, but they're talking about a whole bunch of men that are going to be basically signed on later as plaintiffs and witnesses, and he was supposed to get the head job. The names, it's all up on the site. It's all there in the news. New York Post, New York Daily News, Associated Press, Politico. They're all reporting on this, that these women were put over them. But if you expand into these areas, this is the type of activity we would expect from these power-drunk type of people who would be trying to launch these different types of operations in this country. In fact, I can just read here from some of the articles. This is out of the New York Daily News. Jan Napolitano run Homeland Security, treated male staffers like lapdogs. Actually, treat a lapdog pretty good. I don't know if this writer has ever had a lapdog. It's the opposite. Federal discrimination lawsuit charges. James Hayes Jr., who now is New York's top Homeland Security cop, claims Napolitano filled top spots in D.C. with 2 of her gal pals who were bent on tormenting male employees. And it goes over things I can't say here on air, but that would fit into a pattern that we've seen from these power-drunk women who, quite frankly, I do think a lot of this is genetic. If you look, they all look alike, even the different races of women that are in this guild of this particular group, and they pretty much act the same and do the same things. So, I mean, I think there is something genetic to all of this, or perhaps it's in the food and the water, but these are like beyond macho women. They
can leg press 600 pounds.
Well, yes, like the former Secretary of State, Madeleine Albright.
That's right, that's right.
So it's goblin-like, but ruling us. Mm-hmm. And again, they know what they're doing, and they have a hunger for power. This fits into their MO. Because, let's say these men and these witnesses they're going to call, let's say this isn't true. I mean, whether they're lesbians or not, that's a non-issue here. The point is that they do grab children and strip search them in public and put their hands in the pants of Miss USA until she cries. They do rip colostomy bags off people. They do drag people to private rape rooms where they're physically raped with people's hands. And this is what they're selling us. So these are dominators. These are horrible criminal creatures who also have legalized all the illegal aliens, basically, and give them fake tax ID numbers to steal people's identities. That's in the news this week. I mean, this is a criminal group. Over ICE, they've just completely gotten rid of border security and are now using it against the American people. So this is a lawless group of crazies. People ask, why do people rob banks? Well, it's where the money's at. Well, crazies that want power, why are crazies in power? Because that's where the power's at. And they just want to do this. So this fits the overall MO, and I believe these reports have serious credence. This guy's very senior. He's in there now, and all he's asking for is the pay he would have missed if he got the promotion he was due. Because he and others are saying, look, it'd be one thing if they were even a former cop or somebody they put in there. These people had no experience except it's being reported by Gawker and others that the word is they're special friends we all know who. So, there it is, her own little her own little party palace, similar, I guess, to Kim Jong-il's party palaces in North Korea. What do you think about this, Darren? I mean, Darren, there seems to be no end to these people. Well, what's your take on this?
Well, once again, truth is stranger than fiction. I mean, we're finding out now that Napolitano's handpicked Immigration and Customs Enforcement Chief of Staff, her name is Suzanne Barr. She's also mentioned in this lawsuit, and it also alleges that she demanded sexual favors from the 3 top ICE special agents. The article goes into a little more detail about the sexual favors than I care to talk about right now.
And again, that fits the MO of these Herman Goering type people.
Mm-hmm.
It was a way to humiliate them. They didn't want the sex.
Yeah.
It was that I'm going to harass you the way these type of women think men harass women, even though most men don't act like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, very sick.
Well, and the senior official, he was the top guy in New York. He's the top Homeland Security agent in New York. Who's launching the lawsuit, exactly. Yeah.
And he says he's got all the witnesses lined up.
Yeah.
But look, Bush was bad. TSA, though, didn't start all this and all this other stuff until these people got in. And they're causing revolution in this country, but it is because they're perverts. It is pedophilia. Top psychologists, top police, criminologists, I've read the codes. When they grab a 3-year-old and go in their pants, it's pedophilia. They're doing it at the airport. It's happening right now. I've witnessed it at the airport. They now drag you to, they say, hey, don't complain, we're going to take you to the private room. People died in those private rooms. And let me tell you, I've been there. I've had them do the pat down. I mean, this guy was a radio listener. He said, this is my privilege, you're not going to fly. I had to get back home. And I went through it, and he was smacking and oohing and ahhing while it went on. I mean, again, normal people are into, you know, the woman or the man or whatever being into them. But with these types, it's about forcing it. It's about the power.
Exactly, but they're expanding. And if people think it's those people, it's all about domination. But I just keep thinking about the expansion of the TSA, you know, and how this is going to go to airports, train stations. And these are the type of role models, if you will, you know. I mean, if it's okay for Homeland Security, the tops at the Homeland Security to behave in this fashion, then obviously, you know, the standard TSA work